Today we're going to try and teach everybody to solve their Rubik's Cubes. There's a handful of steps that you just follow simple directions, and anyone can do this. It's really not difficult. The very first step you will find in the beginning to be the most difficult step because there's no algorithm for it. It just has to be solved kind of intuitively, and if you will play with it just for a little while, you'll get it down. And just keep working at this first step, and after that, just follow the directions, and repetition and practice makes perfect from there. But the first thing we're going to talk about is just a little bit about the cube, kind of notations, I guess. We have corner pieces, which are self-explanatory, and then we have the edge pieces. They're in between the corner pieces. We also have center pieces. What you need to know about center pieces is that they never move. They always rotate on their own axis, and they never move. So they're always in relation to each other. The white is always opposite the yellow, no matter what you do to this cube. The green is always opposite of the blue, no matter what you do. So we know what side is going to end up what color based on its center. This will eventually be the green side. This will eventually be the yellow side. And here we have the Rubik's sticker. You'll see on the white side, this is going to be the white side, and this is where we're going to start. You always have to solve what we call the white cross first, which means the 4 white edge pieces. Something to think about, you can have the white cross and it still be wrong. For instance, you see that this white square is in place on the white, on it as part of its white cross, but that its edge piece is orange and it's lined up with the red center. We know this is going to be wrong because this is going to be the red side, not the orange side. So we'll just start solving and talk about a few different kind of techniques as we go. On this particular cube, you will see that there's already a couple white edge pieces. We don't care about these corner pieces. This is white, but we don't care. It does not matter what color these corner pieces are right now. We are only concerned with the cross. So here on the white side, where we have the white sticker, we have a white edge piece. And we're able to look up and see that it has an orange edge attached to it. All we have to do to get this piece solved is rotate on the white axis until it finds its correct center. And there it is. So one is already down. Now, that's only going to work once. If you use this white and green and try to rotate until you find the green center, well, now it's solved, but the one you saw before is not. So it'll work once. One of the things I like to do first is, this one's already solved. We'll just leave that where it's at. But this white orange piece is unsolved. What I like to do is rotate it until that white piece is facing down, or it's facing the yellow side, opposite of the white side. And when it's facing down, all we have to do is rotate it until we find its orange counterpart, and then rotate on the orange axis back to the top. And now we have 2 solved. We'll go ahead and look at the bottom again for more. Here we have the white and the red piece, but it's attached to the blue center. We're just going to rotate the bottom layer until it's over the red center, and then rotate the red axis until it's at the top. And we have 3 of our 4 pieces. Back on the bottom, we have another white with blue, but it's over the green center. We want to match up the blue to its correct center, and then rotate it to the top. And we have a white cross with all 4 correct center pieces aligned. And step 1 is done with this cube. we'll pick up this cube and we'll see that we don't have any white in the top layer, and we don't have any white in the bottom layer. They're all on the sides. So you can do a handful of things. You can make the original technique. So this, for instance, we have a white and blue piece. We can rotate that to where that white piece is facing down, just as before. And once it is facing down, we just do as before. Rotate it until it's on its aligned with its correct center, and then rotate on that axis until it's in the top. And just keep kind of doing that. Here's white and green. Just put it towards the bottom, rotate it until it's on its correct center, rotate that axis until it's in the top, and we're already halfway there. Now here you run into an issue where the white is on the side, but it's also already on the bottom. So what do we do here? What I would suggest doing is, what color is attached to the white edge? Well, this one is red. So how can we turn the cube to where we align the red edge piece with its red center? Where's my white? And try to always, when you're first starting out, try and keep the white on top and try not turn it in your hand too much. I am a little bit right now because I'm trying to show you guys stuff, but you'll be a lot better off if you learn to just hold the cube and not start looking around for things. Where'd we go? Here it is. White's on the bottom layer, but it's not on the bottom. So we're just going to rotate the cube until the red matches up with its correct center, and then from there, rotate it up. Very simple. But when you do that, you'll see that you actually misplaced one of your edges. All you have to do is just simply turn it back to the top. Here again, also, and get used to that happening. The whole cube is that way. If you've ever tried to solve one in the past, you say, well, I got the piece where I wanted, but I messed up another piece doing it. That's part of it. You're just going to have to correct yourself as you go. For instance, here's same as before, white and orange. We'll turn it to the bottom, rotate it to its right color, but before we do, if we try to turn that up, we're going to mess up our blue. So on the fourth edge piece, sometimes you have to be careful to correct the blue, and then you can rotate your orange back to the top. Like I said, there's no defined set way to do this. This is just the very first step, and it's one of those steps you're going to have to overcome in order to get to the easy part, which is to follow. From here on, you can't go wrong. All you have to do is follow the directions that I'm going to give you. They're turn by turn. You can't mess them up. We'll go over every scenario there is. Now that we have our white cross, we're going to focus on the next step, which is solving the white corner pieces. You'll notice there's only 8 corners on the entire cube, 4 of which have a white sticker attached to them. Once you have your white cross, the next thing you want to do is take it, flip it over, and put the white cross on the bottom of the cube. That's where it's going to stay for the remainder of our solve. We're going to solve it from the bottom up now. The first thing you should do after you flip it over is look in the top layer. I think now would be a good time to stop to say this. We have our up layer, or our top layer. This is going to be your right layer, your left layer, your front layer, and your back layer. We need to talk about notation from here on out so that you know how to read the algorithms. We've talked about identifying the faces, front, right, up, left, and back, but you'll need to be able to read the notations too. It's going to be written in single letters, R standing for right face, U standing for the up face, F meaning the front face, L meaning the left face, and so on. A single letter by itself means you want to turn that particular face clockwise on its axis. So if you see a R, it means turn the right face clockwise on its axis. If you see a U, it means turn the up face clockwise on its axis. If you see an F, you want to turn the front face clockwise on its axis, and so on. If you see a letter followed by an apostrophe, that means to turn that face counterclockwise. So a U apostrophe is turning the up face counterclockwise. R apostrophe is turning the right face counterclockwise, or to the left. F apostrophe, turn the front face counterclockwise, or to the left. Okay, now that we have that down, we can continue solving the cube. We have our white cross, and it is on the bottom. We want to look in the top layer and look at the four corners in our top layer and find a piece that has a white on it. You are not concerned with where the white is just yet. Just identify that you have a piece that has white anywhere on it. For instance, you will see this corner piece has white and it is on the top layer, or it's on the top. But this corner piece is also in the top layer, but its white stickers on the side. All we want to do is just find any corner piece that has white anywhere on it. We'll start with this piece right here. What you want to do is identify the corner piece. This is the white, blue, and red corner piece. And you'll see that right now it is positioned between the green and the orange centers. You want to rotate the top layer until it is between the two centers that match the two colors on the corner piece. So blue and red does not match orange and blue. We keep turning. Here we are. We have a blue and red and white sticker between the blue and red center pieces. And then we want to make sure that we are holding the cube where the corner piece in question is in the front right position. It's always going to be right here. You can't hold it any other way for this to work. You have to hold it to where the piece that you want to move is in the front right position. Now we're ready to solve our first white corner. We have to determine, is the white on the front, the right, or the top? In this example, we see that the white is on the front of and is currently in the front right position. To solve, we will simply do prime is the name for when you have an apostrophe. So when you hear prime, that means counterclockwise. So we're going to do front prime, up prime, front. And I will put this on the screen. And you'll see that we have solved our first white corner. We'll go back to the top and find another piece. Here's one right here. It has blue, orange, and white. And it is currently in between the orange and blue centers. If it were over here between the green and the red, we would need to rotate it until we saw that it was between the two centers of its color. And then we hold it in the front right position and determine, is the white in the front, is the white on the right, or is the white on the top? You see in this example that the white sticker is on the top. And we will do the following. Right, up, 2, so you do it 2 times, R prime, up prime, R, U, R prime. And you can see that it is now in place. We'll go back to the top and find another piece. Here we have white, green, and orange, currently between the red and the green centers. So we need to turn that to where it is between its correct centers of white or green and orange. Again, it's on the front. To do the front, we will do F prime, U prime, F. We'll go back to the top. We have one more corner. And we turn it to where it's between its correct corners. This one is not. Hold it in the front right position and then do what we do for up, or the top. R, U, 2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime. And there we have solved our first layer. We didn't run into a scenario where we use the right, so I will do that for you here. Okay, so here we are in our second cube. We have a blue, a red, and a white. We want to turn it to where it is between the red and the blue centers, and we notice that our white sticker is on the right. When the white sticker is on the right, you want to do R, U, R prime, and it is solved. We'll go through on this cube just to keep it up to date. Green, orange, turn it between the green and orange. It's on the left. We'll run our algorithm, put it in. We'll go back to the top. Orange and blue. Turn it between its two like centers. Put it into place. And now we have our first layer all the way solved on both cubes. Now we're ready to move on to our middle layer edge pieces. We're going to be solving the edges in the second layer. So all we need to do is look in our top layer and find a piece that we need placed in the center layer. Since the top middle square is yellow, we know that every single yellow piece on the cube will eventually be in the top layer. So you're now looking for a piece that in the top layer that does not have any yellow on it. We find one here that has red and green. We find another here that has red and blue. This one has yellow, so we're not using it. This one has yellow, so we're not using it. Let's go back. All we need to do now is locate a middle edge piece without yellow on it, and what we need to do is rotate it until the color on the outside of the cube matches its center. So this is a red and green piece. We're going to rotate the top layer until the red matches up with its correct center. Here we are. The red on the outside of this piece is now lined up with its center, and just like in the step before, we're going to hold it to where the piece is on the right side, always on the right. And in this scenario, we're going to determine one of two possible outcomes. At first we were looking to the color on the outside to make sure it's lined up, but now we're looking to the color on the top, which is green. We're holding it on the right, and we need to determine, are we going to move it towards us, or are we going to turn it away from us? What we're looking for is to see if the top color is going to line up with its correct center color by either turning it towards you or away from you. You can see this in this example that when we turn that face towards us, it does not match up with its correct center. But if we turn it away from us, you can look in the back and see that it does align with its center in the back. So pull it back to the top. Now you've determined that you need to rotate this particular example to the back so that it will match its correct center. And you will do the back algorithm, which is right, up, right, up, right, up prime, R prime, up prime, R prime. And if you go back and look, you will see that now your piece has been solved and placed in the correct spot. So we'll just go back to the top layer and we will find another piece that needs to go in the center and does not have yellow on it. Here we have the blue and red piece, but it's lined up over the blue center. So we will once again turn it to where it's over the correct center, place it to where it's on the right, and determine does it match its center if we go to the back or if we go to the front. You can see in this one that turning it to the front lines it up with its correct center. Last time we had to go the backwards. This time we're going to go to the front. When we do the front, we simply go R prime, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime, U, R, U, R. And now our piece has been solved. We'll continue to do this. We'll go to the top layer and find another edge piece. Here we have green and orange lined up over the orange center. We want to turn that to where it's over its correct color center. Place it on the right side and determine does it go to the front or does it go to the back. We try it in the front. It does not match, so we know it has to go to the back where it will match. Turn it back to the top. And we'll do the back algorithm. R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime. And we have solved our third edge piece. We now have one to go. And it's located in the top layer. We see that the outside piece is not lined up correctly. We will line that up correctly with its center. Place it on the right side and determine does it go to the front? No, it does not. So it must go to the back. With it still on the top, we say, we'll do the back algorithm. R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime. And now all four of our center layer pieces have been solved. There's one last example you might run into at any given point. You could have a cube such as this one where every single middle edge piece is already in the middle, but they're in the wrong spot. So all the pieces you want to move are already in the middle layer. And if at any point, say you have 3 solved, but you've got 1 left and it's already in the middle layer, but it's backwards, that's okay. All you want to do is, it's kind of like volume. No two things can occupy the same place at the same time. So if I don't want this piece to be there anymore, I just simply put a different piece there. How do I get a piece there? Well, by doing the front algorithm. If all 4 of your middle pieces are in the center, none are in the top, just pick the front or the back. It doesn't matter. We'll do the back one. R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R prime. And you will see that we kicked out one of the middle pieces to the top. So now it's in the top and you can just do like we did a minute ago, line it up, determine if it goes front or back, it goes to the back. And start solving. It'll keep kicking them out. So now it kicked another one out and we'll just keep going from there. Okay. Now that we've finished our center layer, we're on to the last layer, which is going to end up being 4 steps all on its own, starting with the yellow cross. When you get to the 3rd layer, the first step you're going to do is try and solve this yellow cross, and you're going to be faced with one of 4 possible scenarios. The first is going to be you have no parts of your yellow cross already established, just your yellow center. The second option will be that you have this L shape in any capacity. There will be 2 yellows and you'll have this L shape. The third option is going to be that you have this yellow bar, and the fourth option would be that you got here and magically you already have your yellow cross. So there's only one algorithm to get through the yellow cross with two variations. They are, we'll start with this. If you have nothing at all you want to do is front, right, up, R prime, U prime, F prime. And then it will give you either the bar or the L shape. When you have this L shape, you want to make sure that it's not up here in the top left, it's not in the top right. You want to hold it to where one is in the bottom and one is on the right. It's got to be right here for what we're about to do to work. To get through the L shape, we're going to do the same algorithm, but there's a tweak on the L shape. Instead of saying front, we're going to do what we call the little f, which is you actually turn both of the front two layers at one time. Okay? So if you see a big F, you just turn the front layer. If you see a little f, you turn both the front two layers. And in the example with the L, you're going to turn both the front two layers. So it's still the same thing we did before, but with both of the front two layers. So front, right, up, R prime, U prime, little f prime. Turn both the front two layers back, and you will have your yellow cross. In the example with the bar, it's the same algorithm, except now we do the big F version, so you only do the front layer. So you will do front, right, up, R prime, U prime, F prime. And you will have solved your yellow cross. Now we're ready to solve the yellow corners, and there's going to be one of 4 possible scenarios. Either there is going to be one yellow corner already solved, there can be 2 yellow corners already solved, or there can be no yellow corners already solved. If you are solving a Rubik's Cube and you get to this point and you have 3 yellow corners solved, one of the pieces have been turned, and your cube is unsolvable. It cannot be solved with 3 yellow corners. When you have one yellow corner on the top, you want to place it in the bottom left position like you see here, and then you need to do the algorithm R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. Now you'll see here that it didn't actually solve the corners. It just left us in the same position we already were with one yellow corner. Sometimes it will solve doing that. If it does not, all you have to do is pull it back down to where it's in the front left position again and repeat. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. And it will solve. You don't always have to do it twice, but be advised, sometimes you might have to do it. In the instance that you have 2 corners, you don't look to either, you look to the sides. And you want to hold the cube to where you can find a yellow sticker on the front left block, on the front left top corner piece. And this is only when you have 2 yellow corners solved. When you have one corner piece solved, you want to look at the top. When you have 2 corner pieces solved, you want to look at these sides. You'll get it here, and you'll do the same algorithms. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. What that did was give us one corner piece solved, so we'll do the same as before. We'll turn it towards in the bottom left, and we'll do the algorithm. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R prime. Which, again, we're having to repeat. We'll bring it back down to the front left, and we'll do our algorithm. R, U, R prime, U, R, U2, R. It's not always this complicated. You don't always have to do it this many times, but from time to time, that's just the way it goes. Now that we have our entire top layers finished, we can start to do what's called orienting the last layer. We have 2 steps to go. I call this steps the headlights stage because I turn the cube looking for what I call headlights. You're looking for 2 corner pieces that already match. You'll see that both of these corner pieces are orange. These sides do not match. These sides do not match. These sides do not match, but these do. If I pick up my other cube, you'll see they don't match, they don't match, and here we do. So these are both red, they match, these are our headlights. If you mix up a cube and find yourself with no headlights and you're at this stage, it's okay. Just run the algorithm that I'm about to put on the screen and it will create for you some headlights somewhere on the stage, and then you can pick up right here. Once you've found your headlights, you want to place them in the back, and then you will do this algorithm. R prime, F, R prime, B2, that's the back layer. R, F prime, R prime, B2, R2. And you will see that we now have headlights on all 4 sides of the cube. We'll do that again over here. We have our headlights. We place them in the back, and we do R prime, F, R prime, B2, R, F prime, R prime, B2, R2. And you'll see that we now have headlights on all 4 sides. It's not necessary at this point that you do this, but you can. Since the top layer is mostly solved, you can turn the top layer to where all of the headlights match up with the correct side that they're going to be on. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now all we have to do is solve the final center pieces. Just like most of these, there is an example where all 4 sides are messed up. Neither of our examples are that way. We have 1 solved side already. This one also has 1 solved side. Should there be an example where none of the sides are solved, just go ahead and do the final algorithm and it will solve one of the sides, and then you can pick up here. If you have 1 solved side, go ahead and place it in the back, and you will do R, U prime, R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R2. And you have solved it. We'll do this one. We have our headlights that are already solved on this side. We'll place them in the back. We'll do R, U prime, R, U, R, U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R2. And you've already solved it. Now there could be an example, just to warn you, where you have your solved side, you place it in the back, you do your algorithm, and it didn't solve it. What's happening is it's making this rotation. It's taking this piece, putting it here, this one here, and this one here. So in some instances, you will have to do the same algorithm twice. We'll do it a second time, and this time it solves it. Just follow these steps and you'll be able to solve your own Rubik's Cube.